What's up guys, Dr. Richardson here. We're here doing another review, and this week we have resistance bands. Looks like we have a couple different kinds. We have 3-pack, and looks like we have 3 fitness levels on this one. Light, medium, and heavy. I don't know what that means, light, medium, and heavy. There's no ID saying how heavy it is. Like some of them will tell you, in my experience, 25 to 35 pounds of resistance, etc., etc. Not seeing any of that here. I'll just rip the. Oh, Brett has a Shroot knife. Shout out to Shroot. There you go. Let's cut this up. Got it. Let's see what we got. I'm excited. Resistance bands. I've bought a lot of resistance bands in my time. My gripe with resistance bands is they break. They all break. They all have a life expectancy of maybe 1 to 2 years, and if you're using them, probably less. Okay, these are thick. I have not seen any this thick. That is probably 3.5 inches or so. Includes 3.9 inches. 3.9 inches. That might be like 30. At that tension, this would be medium. That might be 20 right there, all the way out. I might be wrong, I don't know, but that's what it feels like. And then the light, 5, like 10. I like the thickness. Here's what I would use this for. Here's what I do use these for. In my office, mostly. Chin retractions. And I like this better than my other ones because there's so much surface area, and that's actually really comfortable. So chin retractions, you pull back, and the reason they're good, real quick, activates the deep neck flexors in the front of the spine. They are spinal stabilizers, and when you activate those, they lift the head, the skull, off of the shoulders. So those muscles actually help to decompress your neck. And if you have good control, if you have proficiency of strength in those muscles, it prevents the bones from compressing. So it's a real good spinal decompressor. So that's why I try to teach my patients how to do this exercise. I can't think of another function though, honestly, that I would use these for other than chin retraction. I see on the box, and I notice they have the lady here. She's pretty cut up too. I mean, she got some muscle. She didn't get that way using these. No way. Let's do a little test. I'm not a fan of doing bicep curls with bands. I mean, I got a little, there's some resistance. It's super uncomfortable. Feels awkward. There's not much tension down here. This is why I don't like it. These things are terrible for motions that require a long range of motion. So here to here, up here, there's quite a bit of tension. And there's a whole lot of pressure getting pushed through my hand. So because it's thin, like the thickness is not there, the width is there, but it all becomes one tiny string by the time I get all the way up. Let's see if you can keep it. It's just, that's awkward, I mean, for some people that might be okay. It's really light down here, resisted up here. I just don't know I don't know if I would do that for strength training. So that's a strength training exercise, right? I like it for functional. I like it for that. I would use it for that. I'd use it for that all day. In fact, this is way better than the ones I use. And here's what I use. I use these. The reason I don't like these, for one, they break. They're thin, and the thin ones, they're uncomfortable on the head. So, I mean, while those are useful, these are more useful. I like these better. So I would buy these for that. All right, let's compare them to these other ones, the loop. Just keep in mind, like I said, like these things don't last. So when you make this investment and buy exercise bands, it's not a lifetime investment. Keep in mind, you're gonna have to rebuy them if you like them, especially if you use them. The more you use them, I haven't tried every brand, obviously, but I have yet to come across, I've bought many. I've yet to come across a brand that doesn't wear out, over the course of 1 to 2 years. That seems to be like the max life expectancy. Even like what I've researched when I was buying some, and I saw some really expensive ones for like $60. The reviews on there said the same thing. They broke, so what's the point? It's the exact same thing. I was expecting these to be shorter. They're the same.
But if you look at the photo, box.
Yeah.
It looks like those bands.
It does. That's what I was expecting. Let's see the resistance. Exact. That's the same as this. That is another thing with bands. The first rep is always the hardest because you're creating more elasticity. Fibers are getting warm. I would use these for like lower body rehab, like leg, like knee rehab, or even hip rehab. So doing like crab walks and stuff. Like side steps. It helps strengthen like the glute med and the hip abductors, which is usually pretty beneficial. But you could also, you secure it to a wall, which we can do right over here. So like from here, I can work the adductors. But really what I'm working are the stabilizers on my standing foot when you do stuff like this, because my right foot is airborne. This is great for hip, knee, and ankle foot stabilization. So if you have like hip rehab that you need to do, if you're coming out of a cast, or if you had surgery, it would be a minor surgery on the hip, or like knee surgery, arthroscopic, or foot, something going on with the foot, like plantar fascia. This is really good for that because it stabilizes the opposite foot. So I like to use that for that. You could use it to like burn calories if you're like, look, if you travel a lot, I guess this is okay for that. If you could pack this, you could put this in your pocket, right? And you kind of have a little gym right there. If you want to do squats, but getting into like strength training, you can do strength training with bands, but you need the right kind, and these are the right kind. See? Thick, the thickness, and the width is gonna be more like that. You can do a lot with this. See, we can get here, and we can. There's resistance there. Like I actually feel like I'm doing something, and I don't feel like I'm gonna break this thing. Still wouldn't recommend bicep curls with this kind of thing, just because of the range of motion. That's probably equivalent to 50 pounds at the end. So these again came from Five Below store, like the massager from last week. For $5, this is great. So what we bought previously on Amazon were these, and they get more expensive too, like TheraBand, and they make you buy like a whole roll. It's like 100 yards that you purchase, a huge giant roll, and then you have to manually cut it and you tie it, and then there's your resistance band. I think they cater to like physical therapy. These lasted about a year, and look, this one's on its way out. If I do any sort of resistance on that, it's gonna break. However, I'm gonna throw those out and use these for that. These are way better for a third of the price. So Amazon, you gotta pay 12 bucks versus 5. I would get these all day. I like these. I would like to have these in my office. And I'd recommend anyone else interested in getting bands and using them for functional training, look for these thick ones, 3.9 inches wide versus, I'm gonna guesstimate here, by a little more than half, well, maybe close to half. This is probably 60%, so I don't know, maybe 2.5 inches wide. So this is almost twice as wide. It's super comfortable. And in my experience, the things that are more comfortable, you're more likely to use. So that's my take on these bands. Get out there and get some, man. Serious Fitness. Five Below, you did right. I like these. They're not gonna last long, but I'm not expecting that. No band does. You're not gonna find a band that's gonna last 5 years. You never will. I don't care how much you pay for it. And if you have, and you have done that, and you use them, and they're lasting, dude, let me know. Let me know where to buy them. I'll buy it. All right, Dr. Richardson, Free My Spine Health Group. Don't forget, click that button, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Helps us bring you more content, and hopefully, content that you like. Comment if you can. Let me know what you want to talk about, and I can review some stuff based on my experience. All right, signing off. See you guys.